Hello everyone, this is CJNovo992 and today we're back for another brand new video, and I sit in front of you feeling like I'm in an episode of Twins Peak, or for the more general audience, Black Mirror, after sitting here a week ago talking about us having all these shots and us having no luck and nothing going in, etc, etc, and getting embarrassed. Last week, a week on, I'm at the other side of that fence, having seen pretty much everything that can go your way in a game of football gone our way, and once again underlining the biggest and best statement you can ever say about football is sometimes it's better to be lucky than good, and this 3-1 win that we're here to break down, react and discuss today perfectly summarises that. Because I'm not going to faff around today, and I'm going to give everyone a very long warning going in to this game of video. I'm probably going to annoy a lot of people because yes, we won this game and it's a great win and it is fantastic to win. I am happy we went ahead and won this game, but I'm not going to bury my head in the sand and pretend that everything is fixed and it was a great performance and we've done this and get overly excited at that, because we always talk about standards and the tradition and what this club used to mean and what we need to get back to, what we need to do when we lose a game. But now that because we've won in maybe the most luckiest way possible with 2 own goals and our goalie being the man of the match, we can't just go, oh well, that's it, let's go, we're back in business, baby. No, the standard still needs to be reminded even in these types of games, and I think that's the problem these days, especially with guys in charge and the people that's in and around the building. They somehow feel like this is good enough for Rangers these days, and that's enough. It's no, in my personal opinion. Again, great, we won, and I certainly never wanted us to go and lose this game. I've never been that guy, and if you watch this channel for many years, you've known that. Even the dark days under Murty Maney and Pedro Caixinha, or maybe more recently Gio and Beale, when it became apparent that they weren't the guys to get us to there, we've always been smiling when we won. We've always enjoyed the wins and we've wanted them to go out in the best way possible. And that's truly how I feel like I want Clement to go out as well, because again, it's never anything personal, but I'm not going to sit here and happy clap this. Ladies, I thought we were rotten today, you know what I mean? I said on social media, I feel like we got battered for large parts of this game and I'm getting absolutely smashed, you know what I mean? I'm like in Muhammad Ali versus Larry Holmes, everyone's going crazy saying we won. We did, ladies and gentlemen, and it's great to win a game. But that performance was stinking, and that's on the back of coming in and getting embarrassed in a cup competition versus Queen's Park. This is the game that we were promised we'd see a response. The players are going to do this. They've had a week's worth of training. We're going to do this. It'll look a hell of a lot different. And well, if this is us at our motivated, pissed off best, I am very, very worried. And that's where I know I'll annoy a lot of people, because we won the day, and there'll be a lot of people saying, CJ, 3-1 win at Tynecastle, you take that every year. Yeah, you would take it every single year, ladies and gentlemen. There's some seasons, especially over the last couple, that I wish we managed to get that end result. But again, every season's different and every game's different, and this game needs to be put under the context of where we are and what's just happened to this club. And again, that is getting knocked out of the cup versus Queen's Park. The only maybe realistic chance we've got left of winning a bit of silverware, we were embarrassed at home, it was flat and limp, and that is all over now. Of course, we have got a European journey and that'll be great, and obviously that's a long shot to go ahead and win that, but we're talking about February, double digits, league's gone. Every other cup competition domestically is gone, and all we have got to hope for is a long shot at the Europa League. That's why I'm circling it back to the tradition. That's why I'm circling it back to the standards, and that's why I'm circling it back to the frustration I've had for this game, because that's what should have been getting drilled in to these players. But what we got out of it was a limping performance where again we rode our luck that our goalie was the man of the match. The goalie done double digits and the opposition centre back had to knock in 2 of our goals that won us the game. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not going to sit and pretend that everything is fine. That was rotten the day, and it's just as bad, and it feels like a type of result that's just kicking a can down the road and sort of denying the inevitable. And that's how I truly feel, and if that's how I feel, I'm going to say it and apologise if I'm offending everybody. I'm just not happy about what I'm seeing. I'm just not happy about being second to everybody. I'm just not happy about being that slow. I'm just not happy seeing these performances be churned out time and time and time again. So I feel free to voice your frustrations down in the comment section below and just say I'm lost and I'm maybe just too frustrated about what's been happening, ladies and gentlemen. But again, I'm not seeing anything for that type of performance to say, right, we've truly understood, right, we understand the standards, right, what this club has been driven into these players. It was just made of the same stuff, and that can't be applauded, that can't be accepted, even if the Lady Luck smiled on us the day that it hasn't in some other games. But that's just how I feel, ladies and gentlemen, and I know I'm in deep trouble. So I'm just going to carry on with the rest of the video now, because despite my frustrations, again, as we've already referenced a couple of times, there was a couple key individual performances, not named mccart, by the way, for Hearts, and it is actually going to be a couple Rangers player. I thought Clement nsiala was brilliant today, and it was an interesting one coming into this one, right, because he has played well so far in his Rangers career. Again, up and down maybe in his debut away at Dundee, but you know the circumstances where we were. Again, it was always going to be difficult, but I've been really impressed with him. But coming into this game, I've just been thinking all week, you know what I mean, it's a different type of game for him, because ironically, it's also helping us because Hearts don't park the bus. Hearts don't play with a low block. That thing that Clement just can't seem to understand or set a team up to beat, that was ripped off the table the day, as we always seemingly match up very well versus Hearts, because Hearts go for it, commit people forward, which gives us space that's not normally there 99.8% of the old season, barring obviously Celtic, right? So I was interested because on the flip side, we're going to have more space and there's going to be more attack and we'll be dangerous on the counter-attacks. It's also leaving us more wide open and more questions will be asked. Big Clinton, and overall I thought he was again the better of the two centre-backs. Again, Soapy had a wee bit of a fiery connection with the crowd and they were booing him and that, and he never necessarily done anything drastic. Maybe lost his man for the goal now that I think about it. But again, out the two of them, I'm sitting saying Clinton is the one that's taking initiative on the ball. It was Clinton that got on the ball, drove forward, played it to Dio, who played in Cernys, who ended up getting one of our first shots on target 38 minutes into the game. It was nsiala that was getting his head on everything. So I feel like in a game that is frustrating to me in a lot of different positions, there was a couple bright sparks, and Clement nsiala's ability to navigate these difficult circumstances and look like a more accomplished centre-back despite having less than 10 games under his belt is something that needs to be praised and applauded, and I thought he was fantastic today. Unfortunately, he was the second best centre-back on the day for us overall, as Big mccart scored 2 goals, but Clinton really stood out to me, and if it wasn't for Jack Butland remembering he's got pause on his old hands, he'd have been the far and away man of the match. But the man in the sticks reminded everyone what he is able and capable of doing when he remembers he's Jack Butland and he's no Cammy Bell. But I know I've referenced it quite a lot, but the 10 saves he makes, and especially a lot of these saves, because you could get a couple empty ones, long range, you know what I mean? A lot of the stuff we done versus Queen's Park last week, long range, easy this, easy that. No, these were fantastic saves, especially a couple that he made, unfortunately, with his own feet. The one getting low there, the big 1v1 save after we did take the lead. Some of his other saves that he made in the game, even going right up to the 94th minute where he's saving another one point blank. That's the best of Jack Butland, and it's maybe arguably the first time I've seen Jackie B since that 2-1 win last season at Rugby Park when he was absolutely outstanding. He's been off the boil and been maybe one of my most disappointing players so far this season, because I expect a hell of a lot more for him, but I thought he was absolutely outstanding today. And again, the biggest and main reason we won today's game wasn't the own goals or riding the luck here or riding. The biggest and best reason we won today's game is because your goalie just simply refused to give this up. Any other goalie, I think that's a pummeling today. Jack Butland was just somehow back to his best. By God, was it needed? So needed, in fact, that if you stay with me over the next 10 to 12 minutes, you're going to hear his name a hell of a lot. But enough talking around the game. I know there is frustrations and that, but again, I've won. I feel like I've voiced the frustrations. I've got it off. It isn't good enough. This performance isn't tricking me into believing we can turn it around. But again, there's nothing we can do about that until we have people in and around the building remembering the standards that needs to be set in this type of performance where we do ride the luck and do this. Can he be applauded and be told it's good enough? It's not good enough for Rangers, or it's not good enough for Rangers if you want to see Rangers be a successful team, in my personal opinion. And the more these standards get reminded into the players and driven, the more successful this Rangers team will become in the actual future. But getting into the game, Sorry to be moaning again, but the start 11 came out, and be honest, I was fine with most of it. Again, disappointed there wasn't two up top again, but again, I don't necessarily feel like we needed two up top because of what we talked about earlier. Against Hearts, they didn't play low block, they didn't part the bus, so there's space there if players are able to do their jobs, beat a man, create a wee bit of space, hit them on the transition. Every game versus Hearts pretty much like a basketball, so I didn't hate that. What I did hate is the man chosen, and that was Mr. Tom Lawrence. Now, again, I have such a funny relationship with Tom Lawrence because I actually think he's a very good football player. I think everyone who watches this channel regularly knows that I think he is a good player as long as you didn't ask him to run. You know what I mean? He's that classic guy. He's at 5 and at 7s. If you just give him it, boom, boom, touch, and it's in the back of net, but he's an absolute liability elsewhere, and that's unfortunately been the tale of his tape of his Rangers career. And his selection in the starting 11 did frustrate me for one reason, and that is the season is gone, right? There's a lot of people actually calling this game a dead rubber, and oh, nae doubt Rangers win, the dead rubber, and oh, the knee pressure on them. But again, nothing for me is a dead rubber, and nothing for me is meaningless. If you play for Rangers, your responsibility, no matter where you are in the league or what the form is, it is for every single fan that's spending money, pummeling money into this club, travelling everywhere, gone to support your team. That's your responsibility, and that should mean something. So there is no such thing as a meaningless game to me, and that's the way it should actually be treated, right? So where we are in the season, where it's gone, what we've been told for the rebuild, and what this is, and where we need to go here, to pick a guy whose contract's running out in a couple months that won't be a Rangers player next year, or bloody better no be, because if we spend that moolah again, I don't know who's working in the build. It must be his dad that's actually making the decision, right? So to put him in there and try to develop and get him up to speed so he can go and leave us in the summer and go elsewhere seems really, really backwards. Now, I know he's in the European squad, so we're maybe trying to get him heated up or etc, etc, you know what I mean? We're trying to get him so he's able to go. I get it, but at the same time as where we are and what we need today, I feel like we should be prioritising the players that are going to be here going forward, because relying on guys like Lawrence and guys like a lot of people in our team that maybe didn't have a future here is the same mistakes that Beale did, the same mistakes that Gio did, the same mistakes that a lot of managers did in a Rangers shirt, having that short-sighted attitude of, well, he's actually pretty good on his day, maybe he'll pull me out the crapper. And never did, and I thought he was an empty jersey once again. So that's my only wee frustration there. I just feel like it was a bit short-sighted for Phil Clement. But you know, Lawrence is a Clement guy, so if Clement's going to be here, I wouldn't be surprised if Lawrence is actually here. But again, moving away from my frustrations, ladies and gentlemen, I'm letting it all go into the game of football. Lawrence actually piled on a cross in the first minute. Now, it wasn't to anybody, but again, I wouldn't necessarily say it was his fault. There was just no movement from the attacking four in front of him, or the side of him, I should say. But after that cross for Lawrence in the first minute, it was absolute Black Hawk Down style siege. His Hearts were just coming at us, coming at us, coming at us, and we were just sitting there defending for our lives, punting balls away and getting nothing going in the transition. Now, to save this video being annoyingly long, we're going to cut to the 16th minute of the game of football. After a couple shots and a couple warning signs and a couple wee whiskers, Hearts get the first initial big chance of the game of football. Hadji ends up overrunning it. He tries to correct it, comes in. I ain't going to lie, by the way, when I first seen it, I went, oh no, he's in trouble. But anyway, Hearts end up playing on. The referee does a good advantage. Hearts then play it in. Kabayangu gets on the ball, has a shot. I think ends up getting blocked, but it comes back to him, and the big man hits it again, and wee Raskin is on the line to clear it. That's right. Instead of goal line clearance being a tale of frustration and something we pin up and be annoyed at, it actually went in our favour as Raskin is on the line to clear it, or it would have been 1-0 after 16 minutes. And based on those 16 minutes, you couldn't argue against it, as it was all just Hearts. But aye, horrendous again for Rangers, just getting over flooded, outran, outworked, losing the 50-50, and then it's resulting in what would have been a goal if we Raskin said nana. And as the crowd was building, they could sense the goal. We as Rangers fans could feel that it was getting really, really bad, as we just couldn't get out. There was no movement, there was no ability, there was no style of play, there was no tempo. It's a Clement Rangers side. Somehow, some way, ladies and gentlemen, we end up putting the ball in the back of net that isn't offside, as John Souttar did score previously, by the way, but it was a mile offside after a great ball for Hadji. But this time there is no question about the ball leaving the foot of Hadji and going in to the back of net, because it ends up being a Hearts player that puts it in to the back of net. The ball comes into Hadji after a great wee ball for Cernys. He drives it in to a dangerous area. We're sitting there just doing a weird line. Like, look at this picture right here. Like, where is the movement? Where is the work and the attacking set pieces to attack? We're all just standing wanting the exact same. We're such a poorly coached side, it's frightening, but I'm letting it go, ladies and gentlemen. Hadji drives it across the middle. Craig Gordon, I think, gets a touch on it. It bounces off mccart and goes into the back of net. And again, by God, we needed it. And then you're sitting looking at a spell of the game where Hearts continued to have shots. I mean, less than 20 seconds after we've took an unlikely lead, Hearts are through on goal as Cabangu gets in again behind John Souttar, runs in 1v1. It's a poor strike-ish, but again, you've got to give credit to the goalie. Vital 1v1 save. You're then having more shots for that, more corners, and we're sitting look like the tin pot side that usually goes ahead and beats us. And then I'm sitting saying, wait a minute, maybe Clement was right. Maybe we did learn a lesson for Queen's Park, and that's not to be better and actually have a style of play or identity or have anything about us. But the thing we can learn from the Queen's Park loss is to become Queen's Park, because we were set up the exact same and we were Queen's Park, just getting battered, but somehow we were winning. During the battering, by the way, Jack Butland nearly went from hero to zero, unfortunately, as he tries to do a kick out. His kicks are terrible. He really is it bad at doing it, but he kicks it right there, goes to Cabangu again, and this time the lad forces a very, very good save. Arguably the save of the season, especially from a Jack Butland perspective. It's low. I think it's in. He thinks it's in. Hearts fans think in, but it's the fingertips of Jackie B that stops that for being a goal, and that's the save that's up there with the Rugby Park save. You know the save if you watch the games and you know what I'm talking about. That was spectacular. I went, right, he's maybe deserved that after a poor kick. Jumping 10 minutes more into the future after more possession from Hearts and more dangerous attacks. The biggest, most glaring one was a volley from outside the box. They hit a long ball. I think it's Wilson chips it down, or he does it down, I think, to Shanks. Shanks hits a volley. Brilliant save again for Jack Butland. And we still don't have a shot. And this is where I'm talking about. This is where again I get annoyed. And this is where again I've got this mentality, because we were promised all this stuff. We were promised a response, the care. We're going to do this. We are 35 minutes into a game at Tynecastle. We are getting absolutely pummeled, yet we still do not have a shot on target. We had zero shots on target, and just 7 touches in their box. We're supposed to be Rangers Football Club, ladies and gentlemen. What are we talking about? And this is where I feel like I can't shine it up and be absolute. That's so far off the standards. It's absolutely rotten. And our first shot eventually comes in the 38th minute, as Raskin just has a pop about 35 yards out, just giving the statistic guys and the stats chasers something to actually look at, as it was a nothing save for Gordon, but at least it was something on target. But as you can imagine, as we're edging closer and closer to half time, Hearts have gave a lot. You know what I mean? The game certainly showed it. They're starting to tie. There starts to be a wee bit more space. And if we pick our time here, we could really start creating chances. And it all starts with Big Clinton. Big interception. Drives into the space. Drives the ball to Dio. Dio then picks out, I think, Eggman, who then picks out Cernys. Cernys has a shot that's again saved by the goalie. And then a minute or two later, we get our third shot in the half, ladies and gentlemen, as Raskin tries another long-range effort, except this one's much better. And it forces Craig Gordon into a fantastic save. But I did have a joke on social media, because just before half-time, mccart nearly scores another goal, and if he had scored a second own goal, that would put him closer and closer to being the top goal scorer for Rangers away from home this season. Do you know what I mean? Standards are that low. A guy could score 2 own goals and be second in this team list, and yet have to be buzzing about it. It's mental, ladies and gentlemen. But from the corner, it comes in, I think, from Cernys, actually. Eggman, he does it on. It hits off mccart, and then the goalie makes a very, very smart save. It had been his second, which would have resulted in a hat-trick if the second half played out. And by God, I'd have loved a hat-trick of own goals. But that's the end of the first half, and I thought, by God, he's got to rip this up. You know what I mean? If Bailey Rice can get flung to the wolves, ripped off at Queen's Park, and then talked down in a presser, surely someone else is getting that type of treatment, because Lawrence is an empty jersey. Dio wasn't great, but there was a couple wee moments. Cernys wasn't great, but you keep him on as he's a goal. There's a couple there you can sort of look at, but especially it would have been Lawrence for me, because if we're treating Bailey like that, and if we're doing that, then it's got to be replicated, but it's no, and it just shows you the experienced players just get the rub of the green that the young players didn't. That's not a statement, that's a fact. And it's been shown all year. But Clement doesn't make the change that needed to be made. He doesn't strengthen the middle of the park, and he doesn't tweak or change anything. He continues to roll the dice, and Hearts came out in the second half just rampant. All errors again, couple wee quick shots. Eventually the ball goes out for a corner kick, and you know where this is going. Not only are we dreadful at defending set pieces, but Hearts are, I think statistically, or it would have been if I made a preview video, because that's a note that I wrote down anyway, the most lethal team from set pieces. They've scored the most goals from set pieces. Brilliant ball for Penrice into the mixer. Big header for the laddie. John Souttar sleeping there, just gets beat in the air too easy. It's free header, and it's 1-1, and it's certainly a goal that they certainly deserved. And it's again another laddie, Penrice, that we've talked about for many years on the channel. When I sat and look at his performances, I know he's 26 and I know he's that, but we spoke about him for years at his time at Livingston. We spoke about him going there for pennies. I'm pretty sure he was a free signing for Hearts, or I believe that's the case. I mean, that's a great signing, and it's another one for me that signifies our problem and our issues, because we turned our nose. A signing a boy for Livingston? No. What's this boy here on YouTube we've never seen play? Let's bring him here for $4 million. You know what I mean? We wasted 3 or 4 million bringing the likes of Ridvan Yilmaz into this club, who has had some good moments, but he spent the majority of them injured. Whilst there was a guy there set up and ready, free transfer, we turn our nose up to, because he comes for Scottish football, and he's head and shoulders above Ridvan, literally, and in his play style. And for me, it's just, again, there's so many wee players you can look at and like, maybe there, that would have been a Walter signing, that would have been a Walter signing, but we didn't do that anymore. We're constantly attracted to the names for elsewhere and the unknowns that very rarely translate to our game. But again, I know James Penrice's now 26, so you know what I mean. Get the old folks home ready. He's done, ladies and gentlemen. But he was very, very good in the day. His cross was absolutely sensational, and it's now 1-1. And to anyone that was watching the game, you know how this felt in the stadium after making it 1-1. They were just errors again. They were running over Dio. They were running past Lawrence. They were even occasionally running by Raskin, who gave him a wee yank. Our midfield's just getting torn to shreds. They're just running errors, and you're sitting saying, oh my god, this is about as bad as it gets. Then you jump about 10-15 minutes in of that ill feeling, and maybe the controversy does kick in as the ball comes in to the mixer. nsiala looks like he's got 2 hands on him. It certainly appears that way, and then obviously Wilson does drop like he's slipped on a Barry Soap, a bit of a Todd Canwell, if you'll remember everyone in Scottish media when you were lambasting Todd Cardwell for doing that. Remember? It's a different story now, innit? Because it's a guy against Rangers. It's fine. I understand it. But anyway, there is a bit of contact there. He makes a meal of it. The game gets played on. Rangers end up counter-attacking. Lawrence plays it in to Eggman. Eggman has a shot that's brilliantly defended. Spins up to Cernys, who, what I love, right? I don't know if you noticed, but the Hearts players are all like that, right in front of his face. And is that not like interfering with play? Because he could have just went, wait, am I offside? But for once, we had a Rangers player playing to the whistle. Brilliant finish for Cernys, who wasn't exactly playing great to that. But again, that's why you keep the Cernys on. That's why you keep the Hadjis on in nippy games and close games, because they're always capable of a goal or assist, and that's what you got for him today. Brilliant goal for Cernys, but again, the controversy is, would it have been a penalty or not? Again, I've seen them giving it first. I thought he's went like that. Then it showed you the slow-mo where he's kind of just touched him, then the boys fell. So I guess it's how you look at it, ladies and gentlemen. Is it enough force? I don't know. I think Chris Sutton and all that said it wasn't a penalty, so if they're saying it's no, you know what I mean, maybe it actually isn't. But you can let me know down in the comment section below if we survived that one. But I thought nsiala's overall performance deserved that wee rub of the green, especially there's not like there's any force behind it, which is a bit of a difference from the Queen's Park one where you see the boy pushing him. It's just a touch. I don't know, it's ugly. I'd probably be shouting for it if it was the other way. You know how football goes, but I guess I get why it wasn't given, and the ref let it play out. We've ended up taking the lead, and then Jackie Butland save as the ball comes into the mixer, and I think it's maybe, is it mccart again, by the way, but it gets on the header this time, aiming at the right net. Jack Butland with a big save. Then a couple minutes later again, a Hearts player gets played through and ends up forcing another very, very good save for Jack Butland low and to his left, which apparently he can't do. Thankfully he can or Cabango, who's got another banger in to the back in it. And he's been a guy that's been heavily impressive. And I don't know if I keep messing up his name. It's probably because I say it too fast. But he is one that has been playing well for Hearts. But I feel like he made his runs good, and he done this good, and he done this good. But if he had his finishing touches today, that could have been a cricket score. He had maybe 3 or 4 clear opportunities in on goal at Rangers, but thankfully had his old Vargas shoes on, if you catch my drift, and we go away with that, Ian. But aye, another 2 big saves with Butland. It's then, again, the Hearts fans are up, the Ratans fans are this. They're actually feeling good. We go ahead and make a couple changes. Tom Lawrence gets ripped off the park, finally, to the sideline. On comes CD number 9. The 2 strikers are now on. Hearts are now gambling main men forward as it's getting a wee bit later, which is giving us even more space. If we can just pass the football with a bit of tempo, Rangers. And we do, as we end up playing a ball in behind to CD number 9. And at first I thought it was a wee outsider, you know what I mean? I thought, oh my god, it's CD9 and all over the place, but it ends up being a second own goal for mccart, which is truly extraordinary, especially considering the fact that 3 minutes after we whip a ball into the mix, I think it's Hadji again, he whips a ball, no, it's Jeff, sorry, whips a ball into the mixer and it ends up hitting mccart, but thankfully it doesn't go in for his sanity and unfortunately for all our enjoyments. But aye, what a day it was for McGrath. Again, he moves to joint third in our top goal scorers in terms of away performances so far this season, closing in on the gap. Maybe see him again as the season goes on where he can challenge Egeman, but that was close for there. And then we did have some more opportunities. Again, Hearts are now piling everybody forward. There was a great wee moment where Egeman bet a couple of people, had a shot that was blocked. He then makes a great run after winning the ball. He plays it to Raskin. He continues his run. Raskin, just a poor pass for the wee man. You've got, I know we all love him, but he's got to just tap that in, tap it in, if you will, and it should go to Raskin and it should be game over or more game over. But we end up messing up there. Poor pass for Raskin from the counter attack. It's played in. Butland then needs to make another big save. Then for the corner, it drops to Dessers, who's got big clown shoes on. Ends up falling. Clear goal scoring opportunity again for Hearts. They then miss that one. You're thinking, oh my god, another sitter. Diomande, I think there's a silly challenge. They've got the ball. Shanklin goes up with the old George Alberts. It hits our ball, but thankfully Disney Day had it. Then goes wide. You're thinking, oh my god, every bit of luck we could get today is brilliant. This is absolute amazing. We're nervous, but again, everything is going in our way, and the game ends with another double save for Jack Butland. One in the 89th and one in the 94th after a couple complete big performance for big Butland. And aye, we needed it, ladies and gentlemen. But aye, that was the game, that is the set, and that was the match. I think the game reaction, if you watched it, or this game reaction video, if you didn't, sort of explains that we did certainly ride the luck. But again, we've played well and not had any luck before, so maybe playing poorly and getting all the luck that we should have had. It's several games this season is maybe a wee bit of karma justice, but that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Again, I'm not going to sit here and go sunshines and rainbows and be buzzing. Delighted we won, absolutely. I'm going to go to my bed happy today, but there is still that niggling feeling that, yeah, there's just nothing really getting put down, and I just can't yet get behind this project, as I just truly didn't believe in it. And that's a sad place to be, ladies and gentlemen. But that's just how I feel. Let me know yours down in the comment section below. Who was your man of the match? Was it Butland? Was it nsiala? Was it mccart? You can let me know down in the comment section below. And until next time, I've been CJ Number 2. Thank you so much for watching. All the best, and bye-bye.